All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Just a couple more seconds before we get going here. All right, well, that sound means it's officially 9 a.m. Central Time. Welcome to Turning Setbacks into Comebacks. So, my name is Jennifer Bonner. I'm the manager of nursing services here, and I'm really excited to be coming to you today talking about what happens when we have a setback. What happens when things don't go the way we planned on the NCLEX? And there are lots of different reasons why this occurs, but sometimes we see that as a complete setback and we don't come back from it. So today we're going to talk about how we can turn those difficult situations into something that grows us. So before we dive in, I just wanted to take a look at Archer this week. So if we go on over to our NCLEX page, you're going to see that we have a live 2-hour NCLEX review with Megan. That's going to be on January 24th. That's on Saturday. It will be from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Central Time, and that's only $35 to register. So if you like to have that live personalized interaction, Megan will be leading the 2-hour NCLEX review on Saturday. And then you'll notice jumping into next week on Monday, we have Rapid 30 for our nursing students. Top things I wish I knew as a new grad on the 27th. So that's Tuesday with Tiffany Paolino. And then we have a professional development webinar later on that day where we're going to be talking about boundaries, professional boundaries. How do we manage those? How do we set those? What do they mean? What do they look like? You won't want to miss that. And then for our NCLEX students, we have our Rapid 30 on the 29th. So I hope you don't miss that. So let's go ahead and see what tutoring availability we have this week. So we're going to head on over to our NCLEX, click on tutors. It looks like both sessions are booked for today with Megan. Tomorrow, Carly has available, it looks like an hour session. Remember, we offer both 1 hour sessions that are $75, and we have 30-minute sessions, which are $40, and those are completely individualized. So you can show up and go, hey, Jennifer, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? The answer is absolutely yes. Or you can show up and say, hey, I really need some help in pediatrics or cardiac. Can you help me? Absolutely yes. Or I really just need someone to be sitting here with me as I take questions to hear my thought process. Absolutely yes. Whatever you need for that amount of time, it's completely individualized, whether you need a study plan or just someone to walk with you through that information. And then on Sunday, the 25th, we have adult health. That is a small group offering that is $25. That will be held with Carly from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Time. So you won't want to miss that. You can head on over to our website, archerreview.com. You're going to click on NCLEX tutors and you will find that availability right there. $25 is a great 1 hour session. You do get those slides for that. It's a great offering that we have to kind of figure out, okay, where am I still struggling at with adult health? So be sure to check that out. Tell your friends. Otherwise, let's go ahead and jump in. So today, like I said, we're going to be talking about what happens when things don't go as planned. And like I said earlier, there are lots of different reasons why someone has an unsuccessful NCLEX attempt. And one of those reasons is we didn't prepare enough. So, just like when we're getting our kiddos off to school, sometimes they miss something because we weren't prepared. We didn't put our things in our backpack or we didn't have things ready to go. There are times when I have had students that show up and say, hey, I started studying 5 days, 4 days before the NCLEX. That's just inadequate preparation. Overthinking. So let me know in the chat, or if you're joining me in Zoom, raise your hand. Let me know. Are you someone that starts to add things to the question. Are you someone that says, well, what if this happened? And then maybe they thought about this. I am absolutely one of those people that I start to add things to what's going on. So I'm curious, how many of you are in that same boat? I'm seeing several of you raising your hand. So welcome to the party. My name's Jennifer. Yes, very much so. As nurses, we tend to do this because we are constantly taught to be going over in our brain, okay, what could be happening next, thinking through the next best thing. And then I realized that I did not share with you. If you have a question that you need answered, please go ahead and put that into the Q&A for me. If you're joining me on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and put that in the comment section. I will get to as many of those as I possibly can. If you're answering one of my questions, which several of you just did, the webinar chat is absolutely the right place for that. So thank you. Other things that can be a reason for failing, test anxiety. Y'all, I struggle from test anxiety. I know more so than not, the students that I talk to struggle with testing anxiety. And we meet with students that are using Archer and unsuccessful on the NCLEX. There aren't that many. So we do like to meet with those students to figure out, hey, what happened? How can we be encouraging you for your next attempt? How can we set you up for success? So if that's you, please don't hesitate. Send us an email, nursing@archerpulse.com. We're absolutely happy to help there. But testing anxiety can be overwhelming. It can be debilitating. And so usually the first thing that I will recommend for a student is, hey, go have a conversation with your primary healthcare provider. Make sure that there's nothing else going on that might need attention. Cramming. Y'all, I wish I could tell you I never crammed, but I did a lot. And you know what? That may have gotten me through a test, but it was not helpful for the NCLEX. So remember, what has happened in the past has happened. There's nothing we can do to change it. But remember, we're not defined by it. So, what do we need to do in order to move forward? So, I'm curious, let me know in the webinar chat. Do you feel like your previous attempts are kind of weighing you down for your next attempt? Is it causing doubt? Is it causing issues for you as you move forward? Let me know. Are those previous attempts causing problems for you? Causing me to feel like I'm not ready? Absolutely. I'm saying yes, yes, yes. Yes, I'm a bit scared. Not a problem, but ready to get on to my next attempt. And so these are really common findings. The fact that because it happened one time, we're afraid that it will happen again. So what do we need to do? We need to have a mindset reset. And what does this mean? This means just letting go of what happened in the past. The past is the past. It's happened. We can't change it, but we can embrace it and move forward. We can learn from it. So in our house, we talk about the fact that we should be able to learn from our mistakes. So whether that means that you didn't prepare as well, okay, let's learn from that. What can we do to set ourselves up for success this time? Maybe it's that anxiety got the best of you, and that means you need to make a appointment with your provider. It's okay to take that time to grieve. Okay. It's okay. It's difficult. You spent time, you spent money. It's okay. Now, someone said I failed on my first attempt this past January after 3 full weeks. I'm going through grief and trauma. Lots of different things happen. It is okay. Those things happen, and there's nothing that we can do about the fact that they happen. It wasn't anything that you did wrong. It was just the next thing that life threw at you. And so taking into account, hey, was it a life event that I couldn't change? So last year I met with a student that said, hey, the night before my NCLEX, my grandmother passed away. I went in, I was just kind of traumatized from that going on. Absolutely. And so we hope that that doesn't happen again the next time. Most likely it would not. But taking that time to just grieve, you know what? This happened. And once you're ready, okay, let's jump back in. Let's get back after it. And remember, this test doesn't define who you are. It doesn't tell me who you are as a person. It doesn't even tell me what kind of a nurse you're going to be. It just tells me if you were able to pass the exam or not. So I'm curious, how many of you, like me, struggle with test anxiety? How many of you that is your big struggle? Yeah, a lot of us. So more times than not, when I meet with students, that's the number one complaint. Jennifer, I'm just so anxious. I don't know what to do. So super common. But now that we've identified, hey, we have it, we need to kind of understand what it is. So, this is a performance stressor. We see this happen a lot of times when we're headed to something that determines the next step in our life, whether that's a job interview. Hey, I have an interview. I still remember the first time I interviewed for labor and delivery. It was what I wanted to do. I loved that area when I was in clinicals. I loved learning about the labor process and being with women, all of the things. And I remember the first time I interviewed, I was so scared. What if they don't like me? What if they don't think I'm a good fit? What do I do? And so, knowing that how I perform on this interview determines whether I get another one or determines whether I get the job, going to take your boards. So, I remember very vividly the day I took my midwifery boards, and we got our results right away. As soon as we were done, something printed off on the printer, you could take it, you could look at it, and then you could go on with your life. I was so sure I failed. I grabbed the paper off the printer like this. My hand was shaking. I didn't look at it. I folded it up and I put it in my bag because I didn't want to find out I failed by myself. Okay. And so what happened was I actually brought that to my husband, who opened it and gave this big sigh. You know, the one where they're about to tell you, I'm so sorry. He was such a turkey. He's like, what am I going to do being married to a midwife? So it is very common. A lot of us deal with it, and there's a lot of different areas that we struggle with it on a continuum. Some of it's just a little bit, some of it can be debilitating. And so when we get into these situations where we need to perform in order to reach the next level, it gets to this point where we can't remember anything. We can't remember the most basic things that we have been taught. I use the example, we had a medical emergency with one of our kiddos. We get to the ER and the receptionist says, "What's the date of birth?" And I'm like, I had the date. I had the month right, but I couldn't remember the year. Y'all, this lady probably looked at me like I had two heads, like, oh my word, what is going on? So it gets to this point where it's thought blocking. There's just so much anxiety. And there's lots of different reasons for this. The high stakes test, just like the NCLEX, pressure from others. So how many of you have someone in your ear, maybe someone saying, hey, when are you going to take your test? Hey, did you pass your test yet? That tends to feed that anxiety. The fear of failure, lack of confidence. And a lot of times when we go into our second, third, fifth, 10th attempt, these feelings start to well up. What if it happens again? So, what can we do? Well, we know that when it comes to diseases, one of the best things we can do is prevent, right? Same is true for anxiety. So, what I want you to do is I want you to be prepared that there is probably going to be some anxiety. Now, where on that continuum it is for you is a little bit different from person to person, but I want you to be prepared for some of that. And I also want you to be prepared for testing day. So that means following a study plan. So when you go into your Archer dashboard, you're going to find on the left-hand side, there are study plans. Go through those, follow those. They are there to help you succeed. Review the information that you're still struggling with. So if you just took a question on hemorrhagic versus ischemic stroke and you're still struggling with it, then take some time to nail that down. There is something that occurs in our brain where we take a question, we know we don't understand it, but then we go back and review it that cements that in our brain a little bit better than just the average, okay, I missed it. Let's move on. And then know what your signs of anxiety are. Now, all of us, if when we deal with anxiety, it wells up a little bit differently. So I once worked with a student that said, Jennifer, I was in the middle of my test. I got really, really angry and then I got tired. Like I could have just laid down on the computer and took a nap. Now, for me, my symptoms are a little bit different. I get nauseated. I have heart palpitations and my heart starts to race and then I get really hot. My husband tells me that my face turns red. So it starts at my neck and moves up. So I want you to think about what are your symptoms. So let me know in the webinar chat if you feel comfortable. What are your symptoms? So anger, sweaty hands, yes, heart racing, nauseous, nervous. You feel like you're just constantly wringing your hands, heart racing. Absolutely. Someone said diarrhea. Yes, those are all symptoms of anxiety. So when we are able to recognize those things, we can pinpoint what's going on. And so when we feel the warmth in our skin, when we feel that nausea, our heart racing, we can go, okay, Jennifer, test anxiety is starting in. So let's take a moment, let's identify what's happening, and let's do something about it. Now, how many of you tend to be like me, and instead of doing something about it, you push through? You're like, man, I'm almost there. I can get this done here in just a moment. Anybody like me? Yeah, several of you. Well, instead of pushing through, what I want you to do is just take a moment, identify what's going on, and let's talk about some things that we can do to combat it. So again, before testing date, making sure that we're prepped well. Those mock exams, readiness assessments, CAT assessments. We typically recommend at least 4 to 5 highs or very highs consecutively before you take your exam, along with getting at least 80% of the way, if not fully, through the QBank. Now, we also have a new offering where you can do an QBank booster, which gives you more questions, and also an exit exam that kind of gives you an idea right before you take your test how you might perform. And then look for support. Talk to a friend, talk to your medical provider, find a study group. Tutoring is great opportunities. But what about during the exam? During the exam, I want you to remember your why. Sometimes that means writing it down on your whiteboard with the first thing what you do when you sit down. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to a friend. I wouldn't tell my friend, hey, you're going to fail this exam. No, I'm going to remind them of how hard they've worked, the dedication they've had, the fact that they got it, they made it through nursing school, which is no small hill to climb. Deep breathing. Just take a moment, take your hands off the computer, fold them, put them in your lap, close your eyes, and breathe in. Feel the air filling your lungs, feel the coldness of it. Kind of take a inventory of what you're smelling around you. Hold it in for 4 seconds and then focus on that controlled breathing per slip, blowing it out. Releasing some tension. Y'all, this is one of my favorite things to do. I start at the top of my head and I scrunch every muscle I can think of all the way down to my toes. And then I just relax into my chair. And that literally takes me from the fact that there are currently in my Zoom about 60 of you watching me be ridiculous on camera. And I'm focusing on, okay, what muscles do I have in my face? What muscles do I have in my shoulders, in my chest, in my abdomen, in my legs, in my calves, in my feet, in my toes? It takes my attention off of what's going on and redirects it for just a moment. And remember, as long as you are getting test questions, you're still in the game. Each test question is a brand new opportunity for you to show that you are ready for this. And so, one of the best ways to prepare is by knowing how to use Archer successfully. So, as you're going through the QBank, so we talked about the fact that we have the study plan, which are amazing. I recommend those. We have a couple different ones we'll talk about here in just a minute. It's going to show you how many questions to take in a day, or if you should be taking a readiness or a CAT exam. And so while you're doing those, I want you to go through the rationales. I want you to understand, why is the right answer right, but why are also the wrong answers wrong? Get to the point where you can explain the why behind each of those. Tell me, hey, if I was sitting next Jennifer, the reason I chose this one is this. The reason I didn't choose this one is because of. Okay. And then go back, review things. If you're still struggling, keep a list right next to you. Write down the things that you need to review at the end of the day that are still a little bit sticky. As you're watching the on demand videos, watch them in small sections. Now, I can tell you we are working on making those into smaller sections that are easier for you. Pause when you need to. Go back and look through things to make sure that you're truly understanding. And then ask yourself once you're finished, okay, what were the key things I should have taken away here? And could I explain the why behind this disease process to someone else if I needed to? Okay. Take breaks as you need to. If you get to the point where you're like, man, I'm hearing the humming of the heater, or, oh man, did I put the laundry in? Or, man, my dishes need done. Take a break. Go do something, set a timer for 10 minutes so you have that accountability to come back. Go take a quick walk, come back, and get ready to get after it. Now, what are some other things that we can do to be successful? Now, there's lots of different ways to study. Some people like concept maps, some people like flashcards, some people like to just take notes or highlight things. But I want you to be active in whatever that looks like. So, here's a great example of a concept map when we're looking at medications. Now, specifically, you can see here in the middle, we're looking at our hypertensive medications. So what I'm going to do is I am going to further categorize those into their specific areas. So I have my ACEs, my calcium channel blockers, my ARBs, and my beta blockers. Now, when I do that, I want to know, okay, what is an ACE? So these are inhibiting that angiotensin converting enzyme, right? And the result is that vasodilation. Now, other things I want to know are, okay, what medications are these? These are my prills. Okay. And then I want to know those big side effects. So, angioedema, cough, those are things I want to watch out for. Same thing with calcium channel blockers. What is it? What am I looking for? And what are those side effects? Same for the other ones, my beta blockers, my angiotensin receptor blockers. So this is a really great way to improve your study habits is by seeing, can I get to the point where I could fill this map in? And if not, go back and fill it in. Look at your textbook, look at your notes, fill it in, and then go back and see, okay, now that I filled this in completely, how much can I do on my own? And if you're struggling with what to do, let me recommend our SurePass combo. Y'all, this is my #1 recommended package. It includes our on-demand videos, our QBank, also gives you the opportunity to do a 10 to 3-day live review, which is something that we recommend doing right before you take your exam. So whatever offering occurs right before you take your exam. And we go through the most high yield information. It's 3 days of active learning, active engagement. You're going to learn from some amazing educators. We go from fundamentals all the way to specialties to make sure that we understand, hey, what are we most likely to see when it comes to the NCLEX? All right, so I promised we're going to go through some study plans. If you're struggling of which plan might be best for you, let's go through some of these areas. And if you are needing to contact us, please do not hesitate, reach out. We're always happy to help. I'm going to in the chat box here, it's nursing@archerpulse.com, and we're happy to help any way we can. So for the new grad that just graduated, has taken an NCLEX prep course, typically I'm going to recommend the 6-week study plan. These are best for our first-time test takers. You have more time to study. So this outlines everything for you. When to take a CAT, when to take a readiness, how many questions in a day, what videos to watch. But if you are a repeat test taker, or maybe you've been out of school for a while, I'm going to recommend the 12-week plan. Okay. This still breaks down the same amount of information, but it goes through at a more doable pace. So if you're someone that's working 3 12s a week, you have other responsibilities, maybe you're a parent or you're taking care of a parent or another person in your life, the 12-week study plan really outlines things in a more doable manner. You don't have as many Q-bank questions to do in each day, but it still sets you up for success. The other thing that you consider is tutoring. Y'all, I cannot sing the praises of our tutors enough, but we have both private and small group tutoring available. Private tutoring is $75 for an hour session, $40 for a half hour session, and then our small groups are $25 an hour. Now, once per month, we offer the 2-hour NCLEX review for those of you that don't want to commit to the 3-day live. It's a $35 purchase. You do get the recording for those for that webinar as well. So I would like to recommend checking those out. And remember, here at Archer Review, we're here for you across the lifespan of the nurse. Whether you've just decided, hey, I'm going to go to nursing school, or maybe you're in the thick of it. You're in nursing school. You're like, man, I'm really struggling. We have Archer for Nursing where you can grab a $20 bundle to help you get through that particular section, whether it's lab values, EKGs, ABGs, maternal child, pediatrics. There's something for everyone. If you're getting ready to take your NCLEX PN or NCLEX RN, we have a space for you. And also this APRNs. If you're someone that's in the middle of nurse practitioner school, you're getting ready to take your NP boards, please allow us to come alongside you, encourage you in this journey. So remember, we're here. We're dedicated to you as students, and we're dedicated to your success. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule to join me this morning. I hope this was helpful. We look forward to seeing you back next week for our Rapid 30 on Monday for nursing students. And then our NCLEX students will do a Rapid 30 on Thursday. Thank you so much for being a part of the Archer Review family, and I'll see you next